Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dr. Go here with the What If Issei was sent to Hueco Mundo. But yeah. Other than that, let me begin into this What If. Let me shut the fuck up. And let me just kind of begin into this What If, okay? Other than that, no rambling and no other stuff. Maybe a lot of burping. But yeah, and also kind of freezing to death. So if you hear the, what's it called, like heater, mostly the electricity heater being like right next to me, that's because it's fucking cold where I'm at. And I was like 10 seconds of not recording. I was like literally thinking in my head, should I record today? Because it's just freezing fucking cold. My room literally feels like a fucking Arctic refrigerator, or you get the point, just like a freaking cold ass refrigerator, which is not fun. It was not really fun because I don't have water because of my water out leakage. Yeah, it's a pain here. It's literally, I want to say it's fucking 14 degrees out there, but it's literally 20 degrees, but it's still fucking cold. I don't care. Other than that, let me begin this. What if? I know it's just that I wasn't going to ramble, and I did. Go figure. Go fish. Why the hell did I just think of saying go fish and then start singing the fucking song? I have no fucking clue why. My brain just went into somewhere else. Not the point. Let me get into this one. That's my old back. Go fish. I have no clue why. Now, other than that, let me just go into this what if, and yeah. After Ichigo kind of, asking Urahara for the book, this is where Urahara gave it to him, and this is where, Ichigo went to do his own research. Tried to figure out why the previous Red Dragon Emperor is helping a villain, a criminal, and a mastermind like Sosuke Aizen. Of course, he doesn't know about mostly the harem thing. Well, he knows a bit about mostly Issei's harem, but he doesn't know fully. But of course, he found out that Issei, who used to be the an ex-hero for the hero faction, or not hero faction, the hero of the pillars for the Alliance of the Supernatural, is now a complete villain who can literally take on straight weapons of like Zanpakuto's toes, and I've been breaking a sweat. Yeah, he literally took a point blank, Getsuga Tensho Holofied Mask from Ichigo, and that shit didn't even hurt Issei one bit. This is where Ichigo knows that he needs to get stronger, but he knows that fighting against a supposedly extra Dragon Emperor who's now in a Arrancer is probably not the best idea to go point blank Getsuga Tensho, unless he masters his powers much more easier. Because he knows he can only stay in holification for like 11 seconds. Literally not that much, because mostly Issei will probably blitz his ass in 2 seconds. But yeah. And especially when Issei starts boosting his powers or summoning out those Gaster Blasters again, he cannot deal with mostly Issei. Issei, mostly when he found out in the reports of like his magic ability, Issei literally said that his magic control was pretty good, but the problem is he didn't have much magic. Now, he can see that mostly Issei wasn't experiencing magic, but it seems that Rialto is something that actually gave him a fucking like link to actually use supernatural ability like long range and other things. Because in the book it said that he was only a close combat fighter, but mostly what he saw from experience, that was some of it was close range, but some of it was also long range, like those small fucking laser beams, which they're settles, but yeah, they're just smaller than normal. Because mostly Issei can condense it to be a smaller beam and shoot it at the same velocity as mostly Frieza from Dragon Ball Z or GT. I mean not GT, from Dragon Ball S. So Super. Just think about it like that. But of course, mostly he still just doesn't know how Issei is so powerful. He can probably just think that Arrancer powers might have came from Aizen. But Issei did say that he was a natural born Arrancer, making him, one of the most powerful natural born. This is where, Ichigo does not understand, but all he understands is Issei is completely busted, and if Issei was any higher than literally number 1, making him probably the strongest Arrancer. But Issei did not show his number, or didn't even say his number, unlike some other Arrancers that he knows. He kind of thinks of Grimmjow, because Grimmjow says Arrancer Grimja Jaeger Jaquez, and mostly says number 6 or something. This is where, well, or numero 6. But this is where, well, Issei didn't say that. He just said his name was Arrancer Azana, what's it called? Rhino Sune, or Sukene. But yeah. But of course, he didn't say his real name, but just said his last name, or mostly his fake name, and then said his like real name towards Ichigo only. So Ichigo only knows that Issei is now dead. Well, supposed a wrong card, a mysterious wrong card. But yeah, even though mostly the Soul Society still doesn't know anything about like the different Oran cards, they don't even know about mostly Issei's existence at all. But yeah, so with that happening, Ichigo is trying to figure out what to do and how to stop Issei. It seems that Issei isn't a bad guy, he just doesn't seem to kind of care about anyone else. He didn't kill the princess, of course. He literally just like torn something out of her body and just like heal her body, of course, using a bit of Ryotsu, but entirely he didn't kill her, just took something out, making Ichigo believe that he's still a good person, but not that good, because he was willingly using a settle point blank straight to a bunch of supernaturals, which he can only understand that the supernaturals might have pissed him off, but he cannot tell. If that was the case, then yeah, the supernatural would definitely be screwed, because Issei as an Iran card / the Red Dragon Emperor is making such a deadly combo. But yeah, of course, he also noticed that mostly Issei had 3 swords, literally 3 different swords. One was blue, well, mostly he only noticed the handles. One was a blue kind of handle, like a bluish, lightish blue with a bit of white. The other was kind of a reddish color and a bit of green. And the last one was just a black katana, literally just a black handle, similar to that of his like mostly Bankai state, mostly Ichigo's Bankai state, but it wasn't the same. It felt more Ryotsu based. Like he didn't understand fully what that blade was, but he can understand that that blue one kind of divides energy. It literally divides and take energy away. Yeah, that's what he found out from his friends. Making him believe that mostly the sacred gear that mostly Issei has is still the boosted gear, but the gem that he took in a while ago, because also it's there in the book, it has a report in it, that the blue gem that he took from the White Dragon Empress is mostly the sword that, well, mostly Issei has, and it's definitely part of the White Dragon Empress kind of mostly ability, being able to divide energy and take it into people's mostly own power. This is where it kind of now makes him confused. Would Issei be able to also take magic powers, like divide magic powers from people, and turn it into Ryotsu? He's trying to think about that. He might not be the smartest. Well, he is the smartest, but he still doesn't know truly what Ryotsu, how to use it entirely. But he can still understand it, believing that mostly that's probably how the sword works, since he's now turned into a wrong card, doesn't use magic base attacks at all. This is where, well, Ichigo is still trying to figure out. He's not asking his friends or anyone close to him to like help him out entirely. He wants to keep this a secret. He knows that keeping stuff away from his friends and other things might be bad, but entirely he respects Issei as a hero, as an ex-hero. Just like how Issei respects him as a rising hero, Ichigo can actually kind of respect that. Even though if the hero did fall, he still kind of respects him. Now, I should mention one thing. Ichigo in this one is going to be kind of like, well, 17. So kind of similar to the same age as Issei, who Issei is actually 18. But yeah. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo is trying to wonder how to defeat mostly, well, Issei. And also Aizen. He doesn't know who exactly is stronger, Aizen or Issei. Because Issei seems to only kind of like fight a bit of power against mostly anyone, and doesn't seem to be trying fully. So entirely, he can understand that Issei is still holding a lot of power back, because he hasn't really seen him use the boosted gear too much, or often. And didn't even pull out any of these swords in the middle of the battle between him and, well, mostly Issei. Making him believe that Issei can probably kick his ass if he pulls out those swords. Now he is also wondering how is he going to use 3 swords at once. This is where Ichigo starts to think. We go into a faraway place, a different Earth, a different universe entirely. A man who's right now lost, kind of with green hair and mostly one of his eyes just being permanently closed and having like a scar. This is where he sneezes and says, "What the hell? I feel like someone's talking bad about my sword styles. Just because I use 3 sword styles doesn't mean you gotta fucking pick on me. Or anyone trying to pick on me. I feel like it's fucking twirly brow eyes who is actually, or not twirly brow eyes, mostly swirly brow eyes who's right now trying to pick a fight again with me. If that's the case, then I'll kill him this time. You damn blonde cook." This is where, mostly the person with the swirly brow eyes, kind of known as Sanji, kind of just looks at mostly the green hair and say, "Fuck off, Zoro. You trying to fight again? Bring it. And this time I'll make sure you die." This is where both of them just start fucking trying to attack each other, but yeah. But we go into back into Ichigo's POV. Ichigo is trying to wonder, but yeah. This is where Urahara actually appears next to him. This is where Urahara says, "Yo, Ichigo. So, how's your investigation?" This is where, mostly Urahara kind of looked at Ichigo with mostly his, what's it called? Mostly one of his eyes just, looking at him, while his hands, covering his face fully. Well, kind of, but yeah. But, of course, we go into mostly a time skip of, a POV of, a death guard right now kind of trying to execute a bunch of people. Now, he has a frozen Kokobyo, and then he has a couple other people in front of him. Now, there is mostly Cao and some other kind of people. This is where, Cao is kind of laughing at the death god, saying, "So you're gonna fucking kill me? If you're gonna do that, hurry up and do it, you fucking weak supernatural being." Yeah, mostly Cao is trying to piss off mostly Hades. But yeah, the other supernatural beings are mostly enemies from mostly Issei's battle, is kind of just there. Now, this is where, mostly before anything could happen, the mostly death guard known as Hades right now kind of just told Cao to finally shut the fuck up, because he's actually going to execute all of them. But this is where, he could also give them a choice, because he needs a plan to stop, not stop the supernatural, but to kind of grab a girl known as Invo Leviathan, because he needs her for mostly her sacred gear. This is where, mostly a blackish hair girl with kind of magenta eyes hears about mostly sacred gear from a supposed Leviathan half-breed. And this is where she was curious. But this is where, something happens. This is where Hades felt this weird energy appear in the air, and it just seems to be like a black hole up there. Kind of, it looks like it just ripped from mostly, it looks like this, let me show you. So it entirely looks like this, and also gonna be like... This is where Hades says, "What the? Why is our Gargantua right now being open? This can't be. My realm doesn't connect with the Hueco Mundo." This is where, mostly hollow started appearing, mostly flooding through. This is where, mostly someone walked through it. Someone who just basically has brownish spiky hair. Mostly his hollowish mask is right now next to him. And this is where, he's looking around. He then noticed Hades, and before anything could happen, he used a needle to appear right in front of Hades, and right now just smash his head entirely down to the ground. This is where every enemy that ever fought either Issei or just people who kind of died during the war just widen their eyes. They're like, "What the hell?" This is where, mostly Hades right now tries to get up and right now uses his own Grim Reapers to attack mostly supposedly this person. This person just swing his hands once and kill all the Grim Reapers. This is where Hades says, "Who the hell are you? And how the hell did you get here? I'm guessing you're in the wrong car also." This is where, he noticed the spiritual reality around this supposed figure. This is where, mostly Hades says, "This is bad. If this guy is in the wrong card, then that means that Sosuke Ice is attacking. I thought I made a deal with him not to attack me. Then again, that tricky bastard is always after some fucking things. Damn it. I should never trust him." This is where, before mostly Hades can even react, he gets sidekicked in an instant by the figure. Boom! Smash into a bunch of mostly buildings. Just ruin buildings because Hades doesn't really build that much shit, but there's just ruined buildings. This is where, well, Hades right now explodes with energy and angry. He goes into a humanoid form instead of his like skeleton kind of form looking like. Also, this is how his human form kind of looks like. So this is how Hades looks like in his human form. And yes, this is the Ragnarok version one, but I don't care. This is where, well, Hades already has his spear with him. This is where, well, he was right now kind of glaring at the supposed mostly Arrancer. This is where the Arrancer just slowly walks towards him. This is where ignoring the executor supposedly until he just noticed mostly Rizabin. This is where Rizabin looks at the brown haired kid and for some reason looks familiar. Just a bit familiar for some reason. He's right now trying to wonder, why the hell does that guy look so familiar and over here kicking the shit of Hades like if he's like a soccer ball. He can understand that that kid is powerful, and mostly his mask that's covering up his face is interesting. This is where, well, right now Hades says, so tell me, Arrancer, who are you and what is your name? This is where, well, Issei right now thinks in his head, should he reveal his name or should he just like scare the shit of everyone? This is where, well, he then talks to his partner because he grabs the sword, the reddish blade sword, and talks to Diedrich. And yes, Diedrich is basically in that sword. Of course, he can come out anytime soon, or even talk to his partner in his mind, but Issei just thinks it's an easier way to just connect physically by just holding onto the sword. This is where, well, mostly Hades just kind of right now gets on guard, thinking that mostly the kid is going to launch an attack from him. Until this is where, well, Issei talks to mostly Diedrich saying, so partner, it's been a while since you stopped me from actually like killing anyone. This is where Diedrich says, I know what your thoughts are. Should you or should you not scare them? They're gonna die anyway. This is basically the last standing life and you can just easily absorb them if they piss you off too much. Issei nodded saying, I know that. This is where, well, and you just gotta kill Hades entirely. If he dies, there's no way for mostly anyone to find out if you were the one to kill him. Issei says, I mean, you're right again, partner. You're always right. Exactly. So who really cares if you reveal your name or not? Issei nodded and say, this is where Issei kind of speaks, saying, who am I? Well, you can call me Arrancer Issei. This is where, well, mostly making Hades widen his eyes, seeing the Red Dragon Emperor now turned into an Arrancer. Every other enemy widen their eyes. This is where Rizabin says, just widen his eyes, realizing that this is Issei. Issei then appears right in front of Hades right now, kicking him before Hades tries to like swing his spear, and this is where his spear gets grabbed and then punched in the face, so hard launching out of the way. This is where, well, Issei then makes a settle appear in his hand. Settle! This is where, well, the attack was about to smash into Hades, and Hades just widened his eyes. He realized that this kid is no longer someone to be messed with entirely, and Arrancer / Red Dragon Emperor is not something to be messing with. This is where, well, he right now tries to use his arms to block it, which it did kind of smash into him, blasting him. This is where, well, he coughed up a bit of blood. Damn it! This is bad. If I continue like this, the Red Dragon Emperor is gonna fully destroy me. Damn it, I can't. This is where he looks up before kind of getting sidekicked again from mostly Issei. And this is where, well, he cannot dodge mostly Issei. Issei is way too much more powerful than him. This is where, well, right now Hades right now uses his spear again. He grabs it. And this is where he tries to stab it upon mostly Issei. Until this is where, well, Issei dodges. He just completely dodges. This is where, well, right now Hades is right now in a desperate need. He's right now on a crutch. And this is where he's using his spear as a crutch until he decides to say, Bankai, Patrono of Darkness, or Patriarch of Darkness, whatever. And this is where, well, he creates a domain made out of darkness around both him and Issei. This is where all the members are right now just looking like different people. Even those who aren't really a part of the execution or whatever, just seeing this. And this is where, well, they then hear just laughing from straight up Issei. Issei said, you foolish person. Domain expansion. This is where, well, mostly Issei right now puts his hands together and right now actually makes something called domain expansion appear. Now, this is where, well, this domain expansion is quite interesting because it's used by Rialto instead of using curse energy. But yeah, it's a technique that mostly he made throughout mostly his like months in mostly Hueco Mundo. But yeah. Instead of him using resurrection or something much more stronger to actually break through whatever this Bankai is, he uses something called domain expansion to overpower what's called Hades' own. This domain expansion is called... So, this domain is called Sekuruyute no Kentokai. This is where, well, it's pretty much just called Domain of the Red Dragon Emperor. Well, not red, Crimson Dragon Emperor, but yeah. Pretty much this domain literally overpowers Hades. Hades, mostly Bankai, was actually being able to kind of control shadows and darkness similar to that of Sanjin Wu, but not that same kind of extent. But this is where, well, his domain just got overpowered by mostly Issei's domain expansion. This is where, well, everything around them is now covered up with crimson red flames, kind of looking like dragons, and this is where Issei is over here kind of just like clapping, saying, well, 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 what do we have here? This is where Hades says, if you kill me, the gods are going to be angry at you. This is where Issei says, ooh, I'd love to take a chance, wouldn't I? This is where Hades sees no care in Issei's left eye. His right eye is being, well, mostly, yeah, his right eye is being covered by the mask, but his left eye is right now glowing with the greenish color, sinister. This is where making Hades right now go, realizing that his death is literally going to happen. There's no way Issei has any mercy, any care for him, or anything. This is where, well, Hades now has to understand that his death is a necessary cause for Aizen's plan. He wasn't even thinking Aizen would actually get such a strong alliance with the Red Dragon Emperor. He doesn't even know how the Red Dragon Emperor even died. He knows that mostly news like the Red Dragon Emperor died, but it never went into his realm. He thought that most of the Red Dragon Emperor would have went into another realm, probably like the Soul Society. He was not expecting Hueco Mundo to be one of them, or mostly he probably didn't even go to the Soul Society. He probably went into Hueco Mundo first and became a hollow, and then it became an Arrancer by probably either natural means or Aizen's means. He doesn't understand. But all he understands is he is fucked. Because entirely, mostly Hades' realm is kind of also spiritually kind of rich with a bunch of Ryotsu. So of course, mostly Issei's power is just being able to use domain expansion pretty easily. He can just make this domain stay here for like years and years. This is where, well, he doesn't do that. Instead, he decides to fuck up mostly, straight up just fuck up Hades. This is where Hades is right now trying to use his sword to block the attack with all the fire-ish dragons are right and burning through his body and destroying. And this is where Hades says, Yodo, you'll ruin the day you ever kill me. This is where, well, Issei said, what, is your brother going to kill me? Issei said with no care and no mercy in his tone of voice. Hades says, Issei! This is where, well, Issei says, be gone from my sight. Grande Cero. This is where, well, mostly, or not Grande Cero, Draconic no Setoro. This is where, well, he makes a dragon like a crimson ball right in front of his hand. But this crimson ball is added with a bit of his mostly draconic powers from the boosted gear. And this is where, well, you can just hear boost, boost, boost. This is where, well, Hades right now wide his eyes. Boom! This is where, well, Hades was no longer amongst the living. He was gone from existence. This is where, well, the domain disappeared after a while. This is where, well, Issei right now cracked his head and kind of just like move it around. Kind of stretching out the fact that he just got a warm-up. And this is where, well, he decides to ignore mostly the executors. Well, not entirely. He goes up to literally none other than Rizabin, and Rizabin looks at him right now, narrowing his eyes, and before he can even do anything, Issei fully fucking kicks him. Boom! Right now smashing him into a bunch of fucking ruined buildings, again, similar to that of Hades. Issei says, oh, you think I didn't fucking forget about the fucking pain that I was in thanks to Samuel's blood? Yeah, I'm not forgetting about that, you bastard. Oh, and don't worry, I killed Hades. So all of you can easily leave to the human world. I don't care what exactly you do. Just leave me alone and, well, fuck off. This is where, well, Issei starts walking around mostly Hades' realm to look for an artifact that mostly Lord Aizen has actually requested of him to do. Now, of course, mostly Aizen has been sending Issei on a bunch of missions just to see how powerful he will come back. Because he noticed one thing. Sending Issei to the human world made Issei quite powerful. That could be just because Issei absorbs souls, like normal human souls. Then again, he wanted to see how he would adapt with the spiritual Realsu in Hades realm, because it's like magic at the same time it's not. Just because, well, yeah. This is where, well, right now, we'll see the others kind of like semi-wars. We'll see are just scared shitless, just seeing Rizurun gets kicked like a... This is where, well, mostly after Issei, sorry, I should also mention, before I kind of continue on, sorry if I kind of look like I stuttered the fuck out of one part. It's because when I look outside the window, I saw my sibling and I didn't want them to actually say my name, so I was like, oh shit. But yeah, also, let me go back into what if I think, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, mostly after Issei kind of just like kicking the shit out of mostly, not Hades, Rizurun, Lucifer, that's the word, well, mostly when Issei was about to leave, he noticed Rainer. Rainer was terrified of Issei's new look. It made him, well, look kind of good, but at the same time quite terrifying. That mask is not supposed to be on a person like him, because it looks just completely terrifying. And of course, with his serious demeanor, that's like mostly his like change. He's no longer like this supposedly uncool kind of looking trying to be hero, but no, instead he looks like a terrifying badass. That's where, well, mostly Issei turned around to see her, mostly his green eyes kind of glancing into, well, mostly one of his green eyes glancing into one, well, both of her magenta purplish eyes, and that's where Issei walks over. He decides to ignore everyone except for Cao Cao. Cao Cao was actually being annoying, saying, "Hey, it's the Red Dragon Emperor. It's been a while, you know that? You know, if we went to the, what's it called, human world, what would they expect? For the Red Dragon Emperor to be looking like a complete villain, a monster, a killer." Issei turned around to see Cao Cao, and before Cao Cao can even say anything, Issei says, "Shut up, Cao Cao. God, you are... no wonder I hated you when we were still alive. I secretly hated you. You were so loud, obnoxious, and I swear to God I did not care about half of the fucking ideas that you had. Join you, kill the supernatural world, blah blah blah. I don't give a fuck about it. You can go back to your hero faction. I don't know who exactly is running it right now, but entirely. Do I care? No. Do I want to care? Hell no. And why should I care? Well, I don't care, because if you still are in the human world, I'm not going to give you 10 seconds to fight me, because I'm killing you in 2 seconds. Cao Cao says, 2 seconds? Ha! Like you, if you could ever... That's where Issei says, shut up. Grab him from the mouth, and right now make sure to twist his mouth to kind of snap it. Making sure he shut up. This is where Cao Cao is trying to talk, but no, he can't. Because Issei then punched him in the fucking voice box harder than ever to make sure he shut up permanently. This is where everyone sees the brutality that fucking Issei gave to Cao Cao. And this is where Rainer got very scared, but at the same time aroused. This is where, well, she never seen the brutality of Issei. And this new Issei is kind of arousing, but fearful at the same time. This is where, well, Issei kind of walks up to her and says, "Hey, Rainer, tell me, do you have a mother?" This is where Rainer says, yes? No? Yes? Okay, tell me what's her name. Raven. Why? Okay. Tell me why the fuck she killed me. This is where, well, right now, Rainer just like snaps and looks at him and says, what do you mean? I haven't seen my mother in like so many years. What are you talking about? My mother hasn't even killed anyone. She's too kind and innocent to... Shut up. This is where Rainer says, yes, sir. Yes. This is where, well, he says, I didn't ask for your stupid excuses. I asked why she killed me. What, is there some kind of like theory in your fucking bloodline genes to always kill a brown haired kid? This is where, well, mostly she gulps and says, no. Then tell me where I can find your mother and where, not where, why she killed me. Because entirely, this is what, well, one of the reasons and why I literally became like this. This is where he points at his mask. I'm an Arrancer now. Well, a hollow human / whatever. I'm humanoid back again. But who gives a damn? I'm no longer a devil. If you're asking, I am still draconic, but not a devil. And I swear to God, If I die one more time and then become a god of fucking death, I'm going to murder your entire bloodline. This is where, well, making Rainer kind of scared and right now kind of like try to use her wings, but since they're like staple to the like mostly like staple with some like swords, she can't cover herself. She looks embarrassed. This is where, well, he just said, but right now I don't care. Actually, I have a more sinister and satisfying plan to hurt your mother. This is where, well, Rainer looks at him and confused, and Issei right now has a devilish, evilish grin on his face. I'm going to make sure to F you right in front of her. This is where, well, making Rainer right now turn her face completely red, and right now out of embarrassment, arousement, and at the same time, just fearful. This is where, well, Rainer says, what do you mean? This is where, well, mostly Issei say, you heard what I said. I'm not going to repeat myself. So, when I free you, you better not run or try to go back to the human world, because I'll hunt you down, and I'll make sure to do it right in front of your mother. This is where, oh, Rainer gulps and says, yes, sir. This is where, well, she gulps. She never expected the brown-haired boy that she went on a date to be quite arousing. At the same time, quite, well, fearful. Because he doesn't have the same gentle, kind aura as like the previous times when she met him. No, he has a very demanding, cold personality, threatening at the same time, evil at the same time, and yet he just doesn't give a fuck about anyone else. That's why, well, mostly Issei said. But first, now on to all of you else. Entirely, I don't care about any of you else. This is where you notice Kokobell's still frozen and decide to fucking unfreeze him by using his flames. Kokobell says, I'm free. This is where he says, you say one more word and I'll smash your fucking head like a grape on the ground. This is where, well, right now, Kokobell right now glares at Issei, but this is where, well, mostly Issei glares at him with such power. This is where, well, Kokobell shuts up in an instant. Listen up, all you fuckers. I am Arrancer Issei Hiro, also known as Arrancer Zana Raijun no Sano. Now, before all of you question, and why I'm letting all you go, going back to the human world, is that if any of you talk or reveal my secret, I will literally destroy your entire fucking existence. This is where, oh, Issei says, is that I understand. This is where one person says, hell no. That is none other than fucking mostly, Also, there was that one Astrophos, was called person, I forgot his name. But this is where, well, mostly both Issei and Astrophos just look at each other, and this is where Issei says, I'm killing you first. I don't care. You want? Actually, no. I don't care in what you do to Azia. Because it's not my problem no more. Not my monkeys, not my problem, and I don't care. This is where he frees all the different villains who were still kind of binded, and then walk off. This is where, well, he says, come along, Rainer. I can't just leave you out of my sight. This is where Rainer decides to follow like a good servant, because, well, entirely, she could probably get killed in an instant by Issei. This is where, well, Issei then kind of walks off. This is where, well, mostly one dude says, wait, how the hell did we get out of here? This is where, right now, Cal can't talk, but George kind of took. Or mostly, yeah, George. This is where, well, right now, Issei says, there's a well there, you can go use it. Hades would have turned it off, but entirely, I turned it back on using my own Ryotsu. And don't worry about that. This is where, well, mostly Issei completely just goes to look for an artifact entirely. He finds it, and it looks like, well, mostly a, this is where, well, pretty much it's a staff that mostly, Issei find with like a skull, and he can sense the energy. It's similar to that of pulsating some Ryotsu. This is where Issei walks up to it, grabs it, and says, this should be it. Well, let's go, Rainer. This is where he activates a Gargantua out of literally just thin air. And this is where Rainer says, are you sure? She stutters because she doesn't know if she should go with mostly an Arrancer Issei to another world. And Issei says, get in, or do you want me to kill you now? This is where, well, Rainer says, no, I'll go. This is where she walks into it, but this is where, well, Kalawinner and Mito actually never left. And of course, they beg Issei to kind of go along with him. Because entirely, they know Kokobell would try to kill them again. or just try to end their lives. Now, of course, what's it called? Fried was there, but entirely he was let go. He would have fought Issei if Issei didn't just prove that he can kick the shit of all of them, especially Rizabin. And this is where Issei kind of just says, fuck it, the more the merrier, I don't care. This is where, well, Issei kind of just lets him go inside, and when Issei goes through it, he sees mostly not Urahara, Ukiryu right now almost having a settle pointed straight towards the three fallen angels. This is where, well, mostly Ukiryu says, who exactly are you? This is where, well, Issei appears right in front of Ukiryu, right now grabbing his hand and saying, what are you doing? Ukiryu says, who are they? This is where he said. This is where Issei says, none of your concern, Ukiryu. Now, that's not the point here. This is where he gives the artifact that mostly got him from Hades' realm. Give this to Lord Aizen. Right now, I have my own mostly problems to deal with. This is where Ukiryu decides to take the staff and says, fine, whatever. This is where he leaves using Sunito, and this is where Issei says, now let's go. This is where, well, someone say, where do you think you're going, Issei? This is where, well, Issei turns around to see none other than Kyoto. And this is where Kyoto right now looks kind of a little bit upset, saying, who are these slutty whores? And tell me why they're with you. This is where she's having a sinister kind of smile. This is where, well, Issei says, Kyoto, before you think of anything, no, I am not dating them. No, I am not doing anything to them. And, they're only needed for my plan against a woman that I despise for the fact that she killed me in the first place. This is where, well, mostly Kyoto says, I see. She was like, oh, okay. So, of course, she's smiling like this, kind of just like putting her hand in her face and just glancing at Issei. This is where she was kind of glancing at him quite hungrily. This is where Issei said, are you okay? Why are you looking at me like I'm some kind of meat? Oh, you know why. Kyoto kind of just like gets off from mostly where she was sitting and walks over. Right now straddling mostly grabbing Issei from the arm and right now kind of making circles on his chest. You know why. And I think we're ready for it. This is where Issei blushes a bit. Rainer kind of gets a bit jealous. Kaloriner and Mitsuo kind of notice this, but of course they need to hold back Rainer so they don't die. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of say, mostly Kyoto grabs his arm and says, don't worry, I'll tell some Arrancer lower ranks to kind of deal with the fallen angels. Right now you're coming with me. Issei, wait, Kyoto, this is where, well, she says, no buts, let's go. This is where, well, she basically takes him. We go into a time skip of mostly the villains managing to go back into the human world. Especially Rizabin. Now, Rizabin actually did get a piece of mostly, Triseca during the battle, or mostly during the fact that he freed Triseca, and yeah, he then died. He managed to get a piece, and this is where he's going to use it to free Triseca again. Problem is, they need to all be undercover, because when they got to the human world, they all kind of felt a bit weak. Because, well, they know how strong Issei is, and he can probably easily one-shot all of them. If they know about his true power, but entirely they only know about like a bit of fraction power. Like he didn't even summon his sword once, boost at all, unless he wanted to just destroy the shit of Hades. But other than that, they don't entirely know his power. He's an Arrancer being, well, mostly a mysterious entity, but yeah. But this is where, well, mostly with that happening, we go into a time skip. But for right now, I gotta end it off because I only have 11% of charge, and I don't want to actually continue on, and then the phone dies, and then I have to recontinue. Yeah, it gets annoying, but yeah, I have done that before. But other than that, it's a pain. It literally deletes the video footage, and it just, yeah. Other than that, bye soon, yeah.